Well, good morning. This is my response to a wonderful video that my buddy Tony and his lovely wife sent me this morning. Wonderful guy sitting by a lake talking about what a beautiful country we have and how great the people are, and that we're not going to be divided. Well, I don't know if it's the Greek in me or the American. With all due respect and with all gratitude to Diane and Tony, because I need to hear those kinds of messages. But we are divided. I am divided. We took in cynical evil after World War II into this country. Before they unpacked their bags after we saved their you-know-whats, they set about bringing communism here. They took over our media and our academia. John chapter 8:44. They've never changed, and they never will. And they've been instigating this kind of rebellion in my country my whole adult life. You all know what I'm talking about if you're over 60 years old. And it goes on today. Selling secrets to the Russians that gave away our advantage in nuclear weaponry. And that was in the 50s. My uncle Wheeler M. O'Connor, class of 24, was a brigadier general. And he stood in Birkenau at the shoulder of Patton, and I have a photograph of it. And I have veterans in my family that fought for this country. And this is not what they fought for. Our prostitutive politicians that have sold us out to hell. American colleges from Harvard to Texas Christian in bed with the communist Chinese to take their filthy money. Texas Christian University. Hey, TCU, why don't you change your name to Texas Communist University? We all know Harvard's communists, even though the school was started by Jesuits. Now, what do we do about this? Abraham Lincoln said profoundly, if America's to fall, it'll happen from within. We brought snakes here, and the snakes have set about to do their evil. They control our media. They control Facebook and Google, YouTube, ABC, CBS, NBC, Cap Cities, ESPN, Fox News, Fox Sports, and you don't have the right to express your opinion. And they have instigated the useful, or what I like to call useless idiots, to attack the very statues of people who freed them. What do you do with that kind of stupidity? You know, the Russians had an excuse in 1916 and 17. And any Russian today will tell you how dumb they still are. They're a dumb race of people. I spoke to a Russian ex-military. He says, Russian stupid people must have Putin. Too stupid to have democracy. I challenged him, but he assured me I was wrong. He even asked me, are you Russian? I said, no. Then you can't know. Russian stupid. But in 1916, they had a huge class of serfs and permanent underclass that never knew anything but digging in rocks and living off the land. Subsistence. Illiterate. That's not America. We have literate morons. We have dysfunctional literates. What do you do with that? What do you do with people who rebuke their own history because they're too dumb or too lazy to want to know? And what do you do when you have a whole education, public schools up, that are teaching communism and lies? They'll tell you Columbus came here to enslave Indians. You know, the proof that Columbus didn't come here to enslave Indians is because he didn't know where he was. He thought he was in India. That's why he called them Indians. And I read a story not long ago that one of his captains took advantage of an American Indian or an islander in a game of cards. You know what the racist Columbus did to that captain from Spain? He executed him. Is that what a racist does? Robert E. Lee, the head of the Southern Army, freed his slaves in Arlington 2 years before Lincoln was in office. How'd that happen? And all these crooked liars like Cuomo, this degenerate governor in New Jersey who promulgate more lies, who would tell you that George Floyd is a hero, this scumbag who met with the fate he deserved and begged for, this scumbag. Because if it wasn't that degenerate cop that killed him, he would have died in a violent way from somebody else, probably one of his own. Held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach while his buddies robbed her house. Does that sound like somebody you put a cornered flag on his coffin? And the scumbags like Brett Favre in the NFL want to conflate him with Pat Tillman, who died fighting for his country? Is that what it's come to? Hey, listen, Kneeling Football League, you could go to hell. I wouldn't watch a pro football game for all the money in the world. I'm not watching. I'm not watching a basketball game, and I haven't in 20 years, but I'll never watch one. It's come to hockey. Hey, you race car fans, all you Southern boys who started NASCAR as a commemorative celebration of running moonshine. Yeah, that's what started it. Good old boys. But you're not allowed to bring that up anymore. You know what it gets down to, people? Existentialism. You better know why you exist. And I'll tell you why I exist as an American. Not to F with people, but no one's going to F with me. Black, white, and you politicians out there that are promulgating this, you Cuomos, you better be real careful. You better be real careful. And little Mr. Zuckerberg at Facebook, you want to edit what we have to say with all your libtard communists? You better be careful. You scumbags at Google that want to control our lives, hell's coming. Because there's millions of guys like me, and I ain't laying down. And you ain't got enough police. We've all witnessed that. You can't handle a bunch of illiterate, wimpy D-bags from deepest, whitest suburbia carrying BLM signs, and they don't even know why. So the wake-up call is here, people. I'll tell you what changes societies and ends tyranny. It's violence. Real violence. I'm not talking about hitting someone in the leg, beating someone up at an anti-Antifa rally. I'm talking about arming the civilians in this country that give a shit. You want your country? You're going to have to fight and die for it, just like every generation before you. No, we're big at bombing a bunch of recalcitrant Arab swine in the hills of Tora Bora or Afghanistan or, Iraq. But you ain't doing nothing when it happens in your own backyard. When it happens where you live. You sit there on your hands with your mouth pursed when communist teachers tell your children how evil their parents are. Because you want an honor sticker on your bumper. And you want little Junior to get into bumfuck state to get a degree in animal husbandry. It's all a scam. It's been a scam for 40 years, and you all know it. And the 8 to 10% that belong in college, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the endless, mindless, functionally illiterate rabble that go to fuck state, and they don't even know why. We got crooked politicians, corrupt police, crooked military, scumbags in the FBI and CIA that admit they're communists. Scumbags in the IRS like Lois Lerner that weaponized and went after Christian 501Cs. And where's the anger? How many of you know who Mark Schulman is? Because I'm not forgetting. Eric Holder. Fast and furious? Going after my President Trump before he even took office? Crossfire Hurricane? What's that, from the Rolling Stones? You libtards? You people want to sit there and sleep and wait for the Easter Bunny and Jesus to fix your life. That's not what took Okinawa and Iwo Jima and Normandy and Gettysburg and Yorktown. It takes men. That's what you women don't understand. I'm not talking about the 1% that goes in the military either. I'm talking about the thousands of men who die on a battlefield every day for what we all have as a privilege, a birthright. I'm talking about Gettysburg, more casualties than Vietnam, 3 days. Shiloh, 2 days. Antietam, 26,000, 1 day. You people don't know history in this country. You don't care. And because you're apathetic, this is why we're where we are. And if you think this isn't going to get worse, you got hell coming. You think you're all going to ride off into retirement and just live the fat, happy life? That's over. They've declared war on you. And they're coming for you. And they're coming for what you have. And if you think this is Captain Queeg, and I'm giving you some kind of paranoia rant, you're an ignorant bastard and you can't be helped. Mr. Obama has declared war on this country long before he ever took the White House. And anybody that was in Rockland County, New York, on October 20th, 1981, and I was there, where he killed 2 cops, his buddy Bill Ayers. I was there. You don't believe me? I'll give you state trooper names that know I was there. And I was in one of those cops' weddings 6 years before, to the very damn day. Mr. Obama, Bill Ayers, Saul Alinsky, and all the communist rabble they work for, the George Soroses, and all the crooked politicians they buy, rhinos especially, Lindsey Graham. Now we got this scam of Attorney General Barr, right? As he drags his feet and makes sure that nothing happens to the crooked Comeys and the Brennans and the McCabe's. They drag their feet, and they're waiting for this election cycle to pass. And they're hoping against hope that Trump loses, so they could go back to selling us out to the Chinese and lining their pockets with all that dirty money. But one day, if they win, you people that sat on your hands are going to wake up, and God help you if you don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese. And even if you do, you got hell coming. And that's my encouraging message for the day.